If you've ever been in a conversation that felt forced or awkward or just kind of empty, it's probably not because you're boring. It's because you were trying a bit too hard to say the right thing. Now, I used to be terrible at this. I mean, for years, I had one explanation for it. I'm just an introvert. I'm a naturally anxious person. Some people, they're good at talking to strangers, and I'm not. End of story. That felt like a fact about me, kind of like my height. So I avoided it. At parties, I knew exactly where to stand so that it kind of looked like I was included, but nobody expected me to actually talk. I'd ask people question after question about themselves, but I just kind of rode that forever. That way I never really had to reveal anything about what was going on in my own head. I remember one time actually, I spent a whole house party talking to just this one guy about his fantasy football team. I didn't watch football. I didn't even know what a fantasy team was. I just kind of kept on asking follow-up questions for like 40 minutes because it was easier than risking an actual conversation. I mean, I got pretty good at it, and it seemed fine. Yet, I was miserable. Here's what took me way too long to figure out, though. The reason it was so hard wasn't that I was broken or anything. It's that I was doing the wrong thing entirely. I was trying to be impressive, and trying to be impressive is the most exhausting, self-defeating thing you can do in a conversation. And think about what's actually going through your head when you're stuck in a group not saying anything. You're scanning for the perfect thing to say. Something smart, maybe, or something funny, something good enough to justify you being there. You're auditioning, basically, and every sentence gets run through this little checkpoint list first. Is this good enough? Is this weird? And almost everything fails to check. So you just say nothing. That is the trap. You think the goal of a conversation is to say good things, but it's not. The goal is to make the other person feel comfortable. And you can't make someone comfortable while you are visibly, painfully uncomfortable yourself. Comfort is very contagious, but so is tension. So when you're guarding every word, they kind of feel it, and they'll just walk away from the conversation thinking, that was kind of stiff, and they really don't even know why. So the fix isn't getting better at saying impressive stuff, it's the opposite. You have to get comfortable being a little dumb, a little silly, maybe a bit loud in front of other people. Because the second you're willing to look slightly stupid, then the other person relaxes as well. You go first, and that's the whole thing. 3 simple tactics, and watch how they're all the same move underneath. 1, stop giving the safe answer. Someone's gonna ask you, how was your weekend? And you're gonna say, pretty good, kinda chill. But someone asks what you do, and you tell them flat, accurate, like you're reading it off your ID, and the conversation kinda just sits there. So try this instead. Sometimes, before the real answer, give like a fake one that's just a little bit out of pocket. Then go ahead and reveal the truth right after. I've got a scar on my hand. It's probably from the least cool thing imaginable. I simply tried opening a jar of pasta sauce with a knife, and the knife slipped. That's it. So someone asks, whoa, how'd you get that? Normally I'd just say, kitchen accident, and we both feel nothing. But instead I said, dead straight, bar fight. There were 4 of them. You should have seen the other guys. She stared at me trying to work out if I was serious. Kind of let it hang for one beat, then said, no, I just stabbed myself opening pasta sauce. And she laughed. And not because it was some genius joke, but because I kind of showed her that I don't take myself too seriously. And that made her relax instantly. The whole temperature of the thing changed. I pretty much do a version of this constantly now. I mean, someone asks where I'm from, and if it's a boring town, I'll just go, witness protection. Can't really get into it before actually telling them. Someone asks how my day's going, and I'll go, well, I haven't been fired yet, so I had a schedule. Now, none of these are clever, but that's kind of the point. They're tiny, and they cost nothing. Because, I mean, here's the best part. If the joke does land flat, it genuinely doesn't matter, because you were just following it with a real answer, and the conversation keeps going like it would have. The downside is 0. You risk nothing, and you had a shot at making it fun. You think it's funny? Say it. The more you're entertained, the better it lands. 2, teasing, but, the shared kind. Now this one's a bit more advanced, so listen up. because people do tend to get it wrong. Light teasing is one of the fastest ways to go from strangers to people who actually like each other, but it only works if it feels shared. Like you're laughing with them, not at them. The second it's at someone's real expense, you've kind of lost. I was at a friend's thing meeting new people, and this guy shows up completely soaked because it had started pouring outside. Everyone was being like all nice about it. Oh no, you want a towel? I just looked at him and went, oh, you went for a swim before this? Respectable. He grinned and said, yeah, I got a few laps in over on the way. And just like that, we were riffing the rest of the night. Now, I only know that line works because I've gotten the same move wrong before. Years ago, I'd met this girl through some friends, and she mentioned she'd failed a driving test, and I thought I was being playful and went, oh, so you're a menace. Good to know. And she just didn't laugh, because that one had actually stung. She was embarrassed about it. I, of course, felt awful, backpedaled for a solid minute, and then that kind of taught me like the whole rule of everything. The rain guy wasn't insecure about being wet. It was just a funny situation. But the driving test was a sore spot. You tease the situation, never the thing someone might actually feel bad about. And you stay ready to dial it back. If they stiffen up instead of grinning and going along, you pull it in, you get warmer immediately. You're kind of reading the room the whole time. Teasing shows affection without being all sappy. It kind of says, I'm comfortable enough to mess with you a little, and that is exactly what people are drawn to. Light, warm, and shared. So be the first one to do it. 3. Fake seriousness. Now this one has got to be my favorite, and honestly the lowest risk once you get it. You commit, completely deadpan to something obviously untrue, and then hold it just long enough that they almost believe you. Then you break. I sharpened this up working at a coffee shop. I mean, you get 100 identical interactions a day, and it's a little mind-numbing, so I kind of started messing with people a little bit. Someone orders an oat milk latte. I nod very seriously, type it in, and then go, all right, that's going to be $42. And they freeze. Every single time. I mean, this little flash of panic. I mean, is oat milk really that much now? And then I just kind of smile and go, nah, I'm kidding, 55. And then they go ahead and laugh. It's nice and relieved, and their whole face changes. They came in for a transaction and got a tiny moment of fun. Now, I had a regular who once caught on and started playing back. She'd order, and I'd go, sorry, we're all out of coffee. And she'd go, the coffee shop is out of coffee? And I'd go, yeah, pretty rough day. And we did some version of that every single morning for like a year. Never learned her name, but genuinely looked forward to seeing her. Best one though, girl sitting next to me in class had a green water bottle, green phone case, green pen, green everything. So I turned to her and I go, pretty dead serious, can I guess your favorite color? She looks down at the all green and then looks back up at me like, are you serious right now? And goes, sure. I studied her really hard like I was concentrating and said, blue. She cracked up because, it's obviously green, and pretending I couldn't tell was the joke, and playing it totally straight is what made it work. You're not trying to be clever. You're just willing to look silly by committing to a bit, and that willingness is what gives the other person permission to be silly as well. You went there first, cheerfully, on purpose, so now they know it's safe. But here's the part I actually need you to hear. I am not naturally good at any of this. I want to be really clear about that. If any of you watch someone do this easily, you assume they're just born with it. But that assumption is the exact thing that stops you from ever starting. The only reason I can do these 3 things now is that I've said a truly staggering number of unfunny, awkward, and flat things to people over the years. I've made the jokes that got dead silence. I once tried the fake serious thing on a cashier. I told her my card was probably going to get declined. It's been a hard month. And she just looked at me completely blank and said, okay. No laugh, no smirk, nothing. I wanted to evaporate. I've teased someone, misjudged the situation, and then watched their face close up. I have bombed in front of people that I really wanted to like me. Probably more times than I can count. But that's the secret. That is the whole thing. I'm good at this now because of all that, not in spite of it. Every flat joke taught me timing. Every bad tease showed me where the line was. Every dead silent cashier taught me to read the room half a second earlier. I kept the stuff that worked and then let the rest go. The people who can talk to anyone aren't the ones who never say the wrong thing. They're the ones who have said the wrong thing so many times, it stops scaring them. So that introvert story I told myself for years, Not really a fact about me. A simple description of how many reps I'd done. You're not bad at talking to people. You're just early. It's a skill, and skills feel impossible right up until they feel automatic. And the only thing in between is a pile of times you got it wrong. And here's what nobody really tells you. This was never really about being funny. I mean, underneath all 3 tactics is just one thing. Getting comfortable looking dumb. That is the actual skill. Playfulness is just what it looks like from the outside. And once you're comfortable looking dumb in a conversation, it leaks into everything. Because the fear that stops you from making some silly joke to a stranger, it's the exact same fear that stops you from raising your hand in a meeting, asking someone out, or posting the thing that you made, trying the sport that you'd be bad at first. It's all the same fear. Looking stupid. And every time you push through it somewhere low stakes, like a dumb joke to a barista, you're building the muscle for the high stakes stuff. The most magnetic people you know aren't comfortable because everything's gone well for them. They're comfortable because they've made peace with failing in front of people. And once you make that peace, you kind of stop needing every interaction to be perfect, which weirdly is the exact thing that makes them start going so well. You loosen up, you have fun, and people are drawn to that because you look like someone who's enjoying being themselves. And that's probably the rarest thing in the world right now. So stop giving the safe answer. Tease warm and shared. Commit to the bit. But really, all 3 are just training wheels for one thing. Being okay with looking a little dumb, out loud, on purpose. Do it enough, and you probably won't just be fun to talk to. You're going to be more willing to try everything else you've been scared to fail at. So here's my question, and actually go ahead and sit with this one. What's something you've been avoiding? Anything. Not just conversations, but purely because you're scared of being bad at it in front of people first. Because it's the same fear. And it's the same fix. Go be a little dumb at it. See what happens. Let me know down in the comments. There are a lot of people sitting in this exact spot, so your answer might be the thing that finally gets one of them to start. I'm August, by the way. So if this video has helped you out in any way, it would be greatly appreciated. If you could drop a like or subscribe to my channel. That's it for today. We'll talk to you soon.